All right. We are on the pre-show.
I love being on the pre-show.
I know, right?
Even if we mess up, it's not. I
it
mean,
it doesn't
it's still
count,
saved.
right?
Yeah, it doesn't count. It's not the actual show.
Oh man. And it's cool too because it gets us into the warm-up mode and we can ease into the live stream. I enjoy that. I enjoy looking at the chat.
Lots of people in the chat tonight.
I wonder where they're from.
But yeah, let us know. I mean, you don't have to say like your address, obviously.
Oh, please don't.
But your state or country. Feel free to put it in the chat.
Yeah.
See who's represented here. Ooh, we got Texas right off the bat. Probably a lot of Texans.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm heading down to Texas not too long from now.
Oh, very cool. What part?
San Antonio and Houston.
Well, they said that my mic might be a little low.
Oh, is it?
I don't know if you're able to adjust that.
Actually, speak up one more time here.
Yo, yo, yo. What's up?
I don't think that is set right. Hold on.
Silver Dragons.
All right, now talk.
What about now?
Oh,
Can you
yeah.
hear me? Is that louder?
I think they were picking you up off my speaker on the mic. Yeah, I didn't have it.
Better.
Oh, yeah.
Better.
There it is. Totally better.
See, that's another reason why.
There it is.
Show. Get the kinks worked out.
Bingo. That is why we do the pre-show, right?
Okay, so you're going to San Antonio.
Mm-hmm.
I used to live there.
No way.
And the one thing I remember is the Alamo. No. I remember the going downtown, the river walk.
Ooh.
And whenever it would rain really hard, there'd be a bunch of rattlesnakes down there. So you had to watch out for those.
Oh, okay. We're staying right on the Riverwalk.
Okay, well, if it rains a lot,
okay,
watch out for rattlesnakes. Because, they get caught in the river, I guess. I don't know. Or they
that
swim
is
in
wild.
It and they end up downtown.
Ooh.
But it's beautiful down there.
Yeah, I'll enjoy that. We're going to then head up Austin and catch a rodeo.
Cool.
Yankee's first rodeo. Little Stacks wanted to know if he could get a cowboy hat at the rodeo.
Definitely.
They're gonna look at this Yankee and go, "What's he doing in here?" No, I'm sure they'll be nice. I'm sure.
Oh, that'll be a good time.
So I'll be not my first rodeo. Says vote for Pedro. Good to see you. Vote for Pedro. Yeah, and then after that we'll be driving in San Antonio Riverwalk, but we're also going to catch a San Antonio Spurs and Golden State Warriors game.
Oh, nice.
And Steph Curry happens to be Little Stack's favorite player. Absolutely loves him.
I'm just going to predict right now that the Spurs are going to get obliterated.
Oh, of course they are. But I get to see Webby. He's amazing. Wow, he had 10 blocks the other day. Anyway, it's going to be fun. And I didn't tell where the seats were. He doesn't know.
Oh, the courtside?
They're right behind the visitors' bench.
That's going to be dope.
So we're going to get there early. Hopefully,
if he
be able
listens
to
this, he'll hear it.
No, he doesn't listen to this. I don't think.
Maybe he can get something signed.
I know, right? I got to watch out. But yeah, so we'll do that. And then up to Austin for the rodeo and then over to Houston. The whole reason we're going there is because Mrs. Yankee has a convention at Houston. So she does some really cool stuff. And the ladies are all going to meet there. And I know Little Stacks and I are going to have to figure out what we're going to do in Houston. So we'll figure that out, I'm sure.
Well, there's some good Tex-Mex. You can find some good
barbecue. Isn't like barbecue the thing down there?
Barbecue, yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, I got to figure. All right. That'll be our destination. We got to get barbecue. It
West
sounds a little
Texas.
low. All right. So who sounds low?
Maybe I do. I don't know.
I have you maxed. Maybe I'll move my mic away. All right. Maybe I'll lower my mic, but I have you all the way up.
I could turn off my heater. Maybe that'll help. Hold on. Give me a sec.
I don't know. All right. Sounds fine.
Well,
JF says it sounds fine. Both sound good to me.
It is what it is.
Yeah. Get that mic right in your mouth.
mean, what I gotta yell? I mean,
Yeah. No, you're good.
can you hear me now? Oh man.
That's better. Okay. So Pam, thank you, Pam. She said I
There
can
you
hear you
go.
both. We're just gonna have to go with it. All right. So we are gonna need to go live here, bud.
Let's do it.
All right. Welcome to Silver Pros. It's great to have you here. I am Yankee Stacking, and I have my good friend Silver Dragons. How are you?
Hey, what's up? Happy to be here.
Oh, this is going to be a fun night tonight. This is Silver Pros, where we teach you how to stack silver like a pro, and we're going to do some Q&A tonight. So let me, SD, set up the Q&A section for our podcast here.
And speaking of, you called me SD.
Oh, that's true. I do that.
Obviously referring to Silver Dragons, but I just want to mention we are sponsored by SD Bullion. So
Yes.
really excited about that. This is our, what is this, 6th season? Oh my goodness.
6th season, episode 2. We had quite the premiere on your channel last time. That was a lot of fun. And we do this every other week. We alternate back and forth between our channels. It's been going on for a long time, and it's been a real joy to do these with you, Dragons.
Absolutely.
And to help people. Yeah.
Yes, of course. We're here to answer all of your questions that you put over here in the Q&A section, and hopefully we'll just try and stick to the ones that are about silver. But yeah, this has been an awesome 6 years, and we're also now putting these up on podcast platforms. And we are on almost all the platforms now. We're still working on Apple Podcasts, but if you listen to Spotify, iHeartRadio, some of the other ones, just search for Silver Pros, and you can listen to us there as well.
That's awesome. Oh, man, thank you so much for watching tonight. We really enjoy this live stream a lot. And, also, I just want to say thank you to the super chats that came in. Liza, Jane, thank you so much. You asked a really good question. And the questions are rolling in on the Q&A section of the chat, but I do want to just answer Liza Jane's question. What do you think?
Sure.
Are silver pours a wise purchase, or should we stick with rounds and sovereigns? You want to field that one, Dragon?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. When you talk about being a wise purchase, I'm assuming you're talking about it from the viewpoint of stacking silver. Some people think of investing in silver, what have you, but typically silver pours, especially if they're hand pours, a lot of work goes into those. That is more novelty. That's more collector. Those are the fun ice cream cones that you should really keep to a minimum. If you saw Yankee Stacking's full stack video, it's like less than 1% of his stack is pours. Obviously mine, because I do pour myself, I have much more than that. But
it's true.
I would say stick to the generics, stick to the coins, constitutional silver. That's what you should be focusing on mostly. The pours are just kind of the fun things you sprinkle in every now and again.
Good advice. Lots of fun. And I'm glad you mentioned SD Bullion. Really quick shout out to SD Bullion.
Oh, I've been signed up for years. I think there's a little bit of an issue with the audio, someone said. On your audio, particularly, Yankee.
No problem. You're back. Sorry about that. I think I know what it is. Can you give me 1 second?
Yeah.
Hold on.
They said Yankees lost. Oh, there he is. He's back.
Yeah. Hey, no, give me 1 second. I think I know what it is.
Okay. we're still working out the kinks. Hey, it's only the 2nd episode, so.
Hold on 1 second.
Okay. You're forgiven. There you go.
I
Turn up
am.
Silver Dragons too, he
Huh?
says.
Yeah, right. I did add that, Mike. Hold on. 1 second.
Both back, yeah. By the way, over 400 people in the chat. Thank you all so much for being here.
Yes, thank you so much. Don't forget to hit the like button if you enjoy this live stream. But now I think we're both on, and you can see SD Bullion. You got a kilo bar here. That's a really low premium. And gold. What other silver do we have? Oh wow, 15 kilo. I don't think I'd ever. Have you?
No, too
15.
big.
That's way too big. All right, sorry. Just SD. But there's some $100 face bag of 90% silver coins. Love Constitutional. So, anyways, check out sdbullion.com. Sign up for the newsletter, or I should say their email blast, and you won't be disappointed. All right. So, want to get to some more questions.
Yeah, let's get to the questions.
Right. By the way, thank you,
know,
Tiger Stacker, for that $5 super chat as well. I think we're working out the audio right now, so thank you for that. What do you see for good questions?
All right. So the first question that I would like to tackle is this one here from Kevin. He says, is 2024 the year where we finally see silver move upwards? So, all right.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if you've been watching my channel, you know I'm predicting higher prices later in the year. I mean, we can get into that a little bit more if you want, but what are your thoughts, Yankee?
I think we are going to see silver go quite a bit higher when the rate cuts actually occur. In fact, we saw silver and gold pull back on higher than expected employment numbers. Inflation seemed to be rearing its ugly head, and they're like, oh my word, maybe the Fed can't cut rates. Maybe they're going to have to hold tight or even raise them to fight inflation. So, no, they're going to cut. And when they do, I really do think you're going to see silver take off.
Yeah. And also just because, this is an election year, they're going to want to make everything look better, so to speak. So, yeah, I mean, I certainly think we're going to see some rate cuts this summer, definitely by the fall. And I expect to see silver move a lot higher just because the dollar will likely move down, and they basically almost always do the opposite thing. So
right,
we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I think 2024 is going to be a good year for silver.
I agree. Rich Mart 1955 says, is 80% Canadian silver worth stacking?
It depends on the price.
And maybe depends on where you live and what you're planning on doing with it. Right?
That's true. If you live in Canada, then absolutely.
Right.
If you live in one of the northern states, you could certainly do a lot worse. I will say from my experience, when you go to resell it, if you take it to a coin shop, typically you're going to get under spot to sell it back to a coin shop. So if that's your plan, if you're looking for liquid silver that you could move quickly when you need to, then I would say no, it's not the best. You should stick with like generics, stuff like that. But if you're thinking about using it for maybe barter somewhere down the road,
right,
then it's probably okay. Is that kind of what you think?
I agree with that. I would say the same thing. Yep.
Yeah. Speaking of barter, we got another question here from Justin G. Should I invest more in silver dimes or quarters?
Yes.
Well, yes.
Sorry.
Both apparently.
Yeah.
More. I think that if I were to pick one or the other, I would almost always pick silver dimes.
Me too.
Yeah, they're just smaller. I mean, each one is a 14th of an ounce of silver. It's going to be better for barter. So yeah, I would pick the dimes if you're picking between them. But a lot of the time, quarters are the only thing available at coin shops because everyone else likes the dimes. So
I was just at Tim's today, and people were buying up the quarters and the dimes, both right in front of me. And Tim was giving me a hard time. He kept saying, they're taking your dimes, Yankee. Sorry, because he knows I'm still after them. I am buying them though. I'm almost done with the box. So
well, the thing is, I mean, they're not making any more constitutional silver. They
That is
stopped
true.
making it, in 1964.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, there's a limited amount of it out there, and if all you can find is dimes or quarters or half dollars or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
just buy what you can. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
Right. Ooh, here's a big one. David Z, the best. What will we do if the system crashes and we don't have enough silver? Oh man,
What is
wow.
enough? I
I
mean,
know,
how do you
right? That's what
quantify
I'm
that?
yeah, right. One of my rules of thumb have been to come up with and this is all crossed all precious metals, but to have a year's worth of expenses in metals. But maybe it's two. I don't know. That's a really challenging question. We don't have
Yeah.
enough.
I mean, it's too late at that point, right? I mean, when you say the system crashes, I think
Yep.
you're referring to like the dollar, the
Yeah.
economy,
Yeah.
things as we know them. Yeah, I mean, you won't know if you have enough silver or not until you start bartering with it and you run out
Right.
at some point.
Right.
So you can only do what you can do. But I mean, obviously, there's other things you can barter with, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Copper.
Mm-hmm.
You can barter with bullets or the food,
Beans and
obviously.
yeah.
Yeah, all these other
Right.
things. So
Supplies. Yep.
yeah, so you'll have to get creative with it. But I mean, in the meantime, just stack what you can. That's all you can do.
Oh, I got to. Anytime I see a super chat, I'm going to jump out of the Q&A section of the chat and answer it. So, EXAU Banks, thank you for that $10 super chat. As a new stacker, should I be buying local or should you buy from other suppliers? Or should you buy from other suppliers? Well, first of all, congratulations on your stacking journey. It's great to see a new stacker in the house. What do you think? Local? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
if you have local and the prices are reasonable, then yeah, definitely buy local. I mean,
And you trust your dealer.
right. Yeah. I mean, if it's a pawn shop and, they don't really test everything,
Right.
then you're going to have to be a little bit more critical. Um, but I mean, I would say, for the majority of us, we would prefer to buy local. You walk in with cash, you walk out with your metals right away. And especially if the prices are reasonable, then yeah, I think that's probably one of the best ways to go. Now, not everyone has a local coin shop. So
I'm,
what do they do in that case, Yankee?
I'm shocked by how many people don't have a reliable, trustworthy local coin shop in their area. I'm sure it shocks me. I talk to people a lot, comments, emails, texts, and they're like, yeah, I gotta go, 100 miles, or my only one in the area just shut down, and it's a challenge. I think you can go online and buy your silver from a place like SD Bullion without any concern whatsoever in terms of them being reliable, delivering what they promised, and just have great customer service and great selection. They started out as stackers, guys. I don't know if you know. I don't know if people know this. They started as stackers. That was their genesis, and they cater to stackers, unlike some other places. So yeah, you can definitely go there. SD Bullion, check them out.
Yeah, and one other thing that you kind of alluded to is that your local coin shop may not have what you want.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the time, they just have whatever people bring in and sell to them. So if you're looking for variety, if you're looking for something specific, you may have to go online.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't see anything, wrong with buying online other than you have to wait for it to get to you. You
That
can't
is very
enjoy it.
true, and you can't use cash.
Right.
So
And
there are
so
pros and cons with both, right?
yeah, I do both. I have no
Yeah, me
problem
too.
with either. All
All right.
right. You know, maybe you should answer this one, Yankee. There's one from Skip, and the question is, do pocket pingers work on 1 ounce or 10-ounce bars? I actually have no idea.
Oh
I've only
yeah.
ever used them on like rounds or coins. Do they
Love
work on bars?
love the pocket pingers. They actually do work on bars. Now, some of the larger ones can be trouble and problematic, but the 1 ounce, you can definitely ping a 1 ounce bar and figure out whether it's legit.
Now, what
with the app.
about the sound? Knowing if the sound is correct.
Yes,
Um,
you can get the dimensions and put that into the app and actually be able to test them. In fact, you could go to their site, Sound Money Metals, and they demonstrate pinging bars. So that can help you as well.
all right, there you go.
SoundMoneyMetals.com. And of course, there is a link in the description of all my videos on how to get a pocket pinger. But yeah, I highly recommend you get something to test your metals. That's not a question in the chat, or I haven't seen it yet, but it's important. It is, especially if you're buying metals from a private seller. You want to test. There's a lot of counterfeits out there, especially coming from China. So you want to test.
Yes, trust but verify.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
What else do you have in here? Do you actually? Yeah, Metally Corrupted. I actually do believe silver may go up this year. Yeah, remember now, this is important. When the spot price of silver goes up, remember it is a contract being traded in paper markets. Okay, and paper markets are highly dubious in terms of the amount of silver backing those contracts. So it's something that's traded a lot, right? But the spot price drives the price of the physical metals. And if the spot price continues to go up, it's actually meaning the value of our dollar is going down.
Mm-hmm.
They're inversely correlated. All right. So anyway, but you did say I do think it will go up, or just possibly around the election results. The dollar doesn't tend to weaken on election years. Wondering why? LOL. Yeah.
Well,
Go ahead.
propped up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of factors. I mean, I think ultimately, this election, with what's happening with rates and the Fed, it's different than a lot of years in the past. The fact that we do have still inflation, it's sticky. I mean, it's still over 2%. It's over 3%, even according to their metrics. And then cutting rates with that being the case, basically admitting defeat. I think it's going to drive the dollar down. I don't really see any other outcome. So
I agree.
We're just gonna have to write it out. One thing you talked about was paper silver. There's actually another question from Red, White, and Blue Stacker.
Okay.
Can you please explain paper silver and how it's manipulated
to the end of the earth?
That's a good way to put it.
It is.
Yeah, I mean, when we talk about paper silver, we're essentially talking about ETFs, futures. I mean, all this stuff could be looked at as paper silver. It's not physical silver. You can't hold it in your hand. It's on a computer screen. It's numbers, right? And in the case of ETFs, I mean, we know there was massive manipulation going on because some of the top-ranking people at JP Morgan, they went to jail. I mean, they got fined tons and tons of money for spoofing in not just the silver market, but also gold and platinum. And so we know it's highly manipulated. But I think, for at least myself, when I think of manipulation, I just think of the prevalence of trades that are going on in the paper silver market. And how there's so many more ounces of paper silver being traded to every 1 ounce of actual silver. It's like 300, sometimes 400 to 1. So that in itself, I believe, is manipulation. If those people all were forced to buy physical silver, can you imagine where the price would go? If that was really the only way to be in silver, was to own physical. So the abundance of paper silver, I think in itself, is manipulation. I don't know what you think, Yankee.
I think there's a few things going on. Sometimes silver is pledged as collateral, and there are claims to a specific piece of physical silver. Remember, the silver market is very small, and the smaller the market, the easier it is to manipulate. So when they pledge collateral and secure it, and multiple people do that, it's called hypothecation. And it's really dangerous. So you've got multiple claims on the same piece of physical silver. in a paper contract. So that's the danger, because this physical, you hold it, you know you have it, right? The old saying, if you hold it, you own it, or if you don't hold it, you don't own it. That's the difference. The paper market is a wild west. People can be saying, "Oh yeah, I've got this many ounces. I'll trade that with this and that," and there's no real physical silver backing it 1-to-1. Now, I can think of one ETF that claims that they back all their shares with real tangible silver 1-to-1, but I don't know. Most don't. So you got to be very careful.
Yeah, if you buy paper silver, you're likely never going to be able to turn it into real silver. So
Correct.
if the system does, implode, then you're just out of luck.
A lot of people are going to be running for the exits, trying to get the silver, and there's going to be a bedlam. And I think that's the other thing. When we said when it gets bad, or how much silver do we need to have? What if we don't have enough? The scenarios when the COMEX fails, the COMEX, the trading powerhouse that handles these metals and other commodities, when they have too many people demanding the physical silver, in this case, more than there's enough, they're not going to be able to settle it. They're not going to be able to satisfy the demand. They've even written into their rules to be able to satisfy it with fiat currency when people demand the silver. How about that?
Yeah, that doesn't sound like satisfying it.
No, it doesn't.
To me.
I do see a super chat I want to answer. How do you feel about fractional gold as barter, says Johnny Rifle. Thanks for the $5 super chat.
I think personally, when we think about fractional gold, the smallest that we really, think about in our mind is a gram, maybe a 10th ounce, if you're thinking about coins. Even a gram, to me, that seems big to barter with.
Yeah,
so I think you really want to go smaller than that, and the only way to do that reasonably, you have to start thinking about gold backs or get outside the box. But I think more along the lines of when I'm imagining bartering, that it would be with silver, because the value is just so much lower than that of gold. And so typically I think about silver. Obviously the gold backs are like a hyper fractional gold, and people do barter with those now, so you have to think about those as well. But I mean, typically,
I think constitutional silver is great for that, more so than even the gold. Fractional silver, I think, is a better play there than fractional gold.
Yeah, and we are on Silver Pros, so
that's true.
You got to give the nod to silver, of course. Hey, there's one question that was asked in the pre-show that I think we should try and answer now.
Oh, yeah,
it's from Holly H, and she says, "Explain the GSR, please." And
nice.
I know we have different thoughts on this, but I'll just explain what it is, and then maybe we can go into it if you want. But the GSR is the gold-silver ratio. So it's effectively how many ounces of silver would it take to buy an ounce of gold if there's no spot price attached at all. If you're just no premiums, attached at all. You're just looking at the spot price. So for example, if it was 100-to-1, that would be 100 ounces of silver would have the exact same value as 1 ounce of gold. That's what the ratio is. It changes all the time, and people look at it to help them decide, typically, if they want to buy gold or silver based on what the ratio is. Is that essentially what you would say, Yankee?
Yeah, you did a really good job with that.
Yeah, we don't necessarily have to go into playing the ratio. We could, because I know we have differing views on that, but we could do a whole video on it probably at some point.
No, but that's a really good way to put it. How many ounces of silver would equal 1 ounce of gold without the premium?
Yeah, and do you know what the lowest it's ever been is?
Ever been? 15-to-1?
Oh, no, lower.
5-to-1.
Like ancient Egypt type stuff.
Oh, ancient Egypt. I know what it was. I know what it was constitutionally and how it was set up here in the United States, but no, give me the ancient Egypt ratio.
So it's debated, obviously, but if you search this, you'll find when silver was getting more, I guess, in vogue, it was 1-to-1 in certain parts, certain places that had like it was hard to find silver there. It was 1 to 1, but a lot of people say it was more closer to 2 to 1,
Right.
um, for a very short period of time in the ancient world. So I mean, think about that 1 to 1. An ounce of silver, an ounce of gold are worth the
Wow.
same.
That's
that's
amazing.
that's insane.
And quite frankly, I disagree because I think there is different amounts of it and different uses of it. So it's not a bad thing to have one have a ratio or have more value than the other and see that ratio. That's not a problem, in my opinion. It doesn't have to be 1 to 1. But right now, it's really high. It's what?
Yeah,
It's
it's not
crazy.
90 to 1 about.
90. That's way too high,
Yeah,
in
I
my
mean,
opinion.
for a long time it was 15 to 1.
Hmm.
Um, I think if you look at the average over the last 50 years or so, it's closer to 50 to 1.
Mm.
Is sort of the average. So that's kind of what we think of as normal in today's day and age. So 90 obviously seems really high.
Yep. What else do we got here? Um, this is a tricky one. I have $1,000 to buy with. Should I buy
Mm-hmm.
gold or silver? Silver seems so stagnant right now. Boy, there's a couple things I wanted to touch on here.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, you're talking $1,000. An ounce of gold is roughly two. A little extra, actually, a little over. So you're going to have to get into fractional gold with $1,000. As you get into fractionals, the premium goes up. So be mindful of that. $1,000, and I did a video on this not too long ago. My budget, how much silver and gold ratio to buy on different budgets, right? At 1,000, it's silver. It's silver, and so that's my opinion there. The last statement that you have here, silver seems so stagnant right now. Ooh,
Mm-hmm.
wow. A couple things. One,
Enjoy it.
enjoy it. Yep. Thank you. It's on sale right now. This may change dramatically. We're just talking about the ratio. If that ratio drops dramatically, you're going to see it change a lot. The other thing is just remember, be careful with silver or gold in trying to make money with
Mm-hmm.
this. Remember, silver is money. It's real money, right? We were just talking about this before the show started, weren't we? That Dragons, how we view this primarily as insurance,
Mm-hmm.
wealth preservation, purchasing power, holding real tangible assets, money. So when you look at that, if the dollar is dropping, right, and the value in dollars is going up for your silver, are you really getting ahead? How much is a loaf of bread or a dozen eggs? What is inflation doing? You got to be mindful of that. So some people do like to flip their metals, buy low, sell high with silver. I personally don't. That's not the intent, from my opinion, of what silver represents. For me, silver is primarily real money, insurance, and a way to potentially barter for goods and services in a worst case scenario.
Yeah, I think that's you put that really well, and I would agree with you. I think silver and gold, both of them, they literally are money. So
Right.
it's what is the dollar doing in relation to real money? That's kind of
Mm.
how I look at it. What is
Mhm.
this man-made fiat currency doing? Is it getting better, getting worse for it? It's almost always worse, right? So I mean, they even have an inflation goal. Like they know it's going to get worse.
Oh my
We just
word.
want to keep it to this
You
level
know,
of
right?
bad.
uh,
So, all right, yeah, and I agree. If you only have $1,000, I would certainly go silver.
all right. What else?
There's one question here, which is kind of an interesting one that I don't think we've ever tackled.
Ooh.
And it's a technical question. How do you tell what year a bar was made from the serial number? I got a random RMC bar with the lowest number from an online dealer. Just wanted to get an idea how old it is. You know, There are some websites,
Mm-hmm.
allenglehard.com
Mm-hmm.
will show some of the bars and you can get some information on there, but really there's not that much out there. And
Mm-hmm.
I think you're going to have a really difficult time trying to figure that out. I am kind of curious why you want to know the year because it doesn't really matter. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think the serial numbers are kind of arbitrary. I mean, if you have like
Mm.
number one and you figure out when they started making them, you could figure out the number. Um,
Yeah, Adrian might be trying to, flip or try to determine what her or his, sorry, vintage bar might be worth.
mm,
And so if he's trying to, flip it, maybe the serial number would matter. You're getting into a non-stacking related uh, uh, distinction here. You're looking at something that's beyond the value of just the metals itself, but more into a numismatic type of approach when you're talking like the rarity, the early serial numbers on a bar.
yeah, I could tell you from what I've seen, collectors like interesting serial numbers
Hmm.
and they like low serial numbers as well. So like if
Mm-hmm.
your serial number was like 11111111 or one
Yeah.
two three four five six or or a date or something, those are kind of cool and people will pay extra for those. Or if it's a really low number, um,
I think you said the word collector. That's important.
exactly,
These are collectors, right?
exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. So, but yeah, and a great question there. And I
Mm.
wish I had a better answer. I mean, I don't know that you necessarily can tell the year from the serial number. It's not like they put it in there.
Yeah, I just realized I I think I think I have a serial number on this big huge Hondo bar. Look at that. 2020 001602. So maybe well, that's the year, right? RCM bar.
Sure, I'm
Yeah.
assuming that was definitely
2020.
made in
Yeah.
2020.
Man, that's heavy. Okay. How about this question? Well, this one's a little bit for me. Maybe you could chime in on this too. Vote for
Mm-hmm.
Pedro said, Yankee, I saw your total stack video. Yeah, my full stack video. I haven't done that in a long time. Check it out. Not many numismatics. What is your take on numismatics as an investment long
Ooh.
term? Can I just change that a little bit? Because numismatics might be a rare copper penny. So, as talking silver here, because it was my silver stack, how about semi numismatics, like rare types of silver coins, right?
Mm-hmm.
What I know what I think. What do you think?
Um,
What's it for an investment? Long term. Long term.
yeah, yeah. Personally, I don't really look at it as an investment. I mean, and so that it's difficult to answer that.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say that in general, if you're stacking for like a crisis, SHTF, that kind of stuff, all that numismatic value is basically gone.
Right
So
out the window.
yeah, so if that's
Yep.
why you're stacking, if that's what you're worried about, then it's dumb to buy anything with numismatic value. Um, if you're thinking, okay, maybe I'll pass this on down to my kids, and maybe these will be more collectible later on. They're not making them anymore. It's a rare date or whatever. I think that they certainly could do okay. We've seen them, a lot of numismatics, semi-numismatics do well over the last 10, 20, 30 years. But I don't know. I mean, that's not really my strategy. I'm not really
Mm.
a collector, so I'm
Mhm.
probably not the best to speak on that. But what's your thoughts, Yankee?
What my thought is I've seen, especially at Tim's, people come in
Mm-hmm.
with their parents' or grandparents' collection
Yeah.
after they've passed. And there's a whole bunch of stuff from, I don't know, a Franklin Mint or some, nighttime, I'm trying to think of the show where you buy stuff on TV, but the stuff you buy and
QVC.
yeah, exactly.
QVC, yeah.
Yeah. And they put it on the counter and he goes, yeah, that's pretty much melt. And their eyes are like, wait, what? They bought the whole collection. This was like an investment. It's like, wrong. It's not. They overspent. I'm sorry. It's just worth maybe melt or a buck over or something like that. And it's amazing because people do this. They expect it to go up in value because they hold on to it for a long time. I think it's sometimes just the opposite. If you're going to be buying something that's really popular one year and you're trying to buy it in and right when it comes out and then maybe flip it, do it quick. Most of the time, they do not hold their huge premium on eBay. They really don't.
Yeah, there are some exceptions,
There
but
are
yeah,
exceptions. Yep.
typically I would say that's a pretty good strategy. Get rid of it quick.
Right.
All
All right.
right.
What else we got?
Well, there's a lot of questions in here. One that I would like to tackle from, well, I'm not sure it's from because you scrolled past it, but it was just thoughts on kilo silver bars. Was essentially the question.
Yep.
Now, kilos, they're 32.15 troy ounces.
Mm-hmm.
The way I remember that is 3, 2, 1, high five. Like you're counting down for a high five, right?
Oh,
With your buddy.
nice. That's a great shortcut. I love it.
Yeah, so 32.15 troy ounces in a kilo of silver. I think if that's all you're stacking, I would be a little bit nervous because when you sell those, you're selling them a kilo at a time. You can't sell them 1 ounce at a time if you just need a little bit of money for this or that. So personally, I wouldn't stack them heavily until I already had a nice stack of 1 ounce silver coins, silver rounds, constitutional silver, like that. That's kind of my base. And then when you want to get that weight later on, you already have 1,000 ounces or a few hundred ounces of silver. You just want to get some weight. Then I think there's nothing wrong with them because the premium is so low on them. I mean, they're actually pretty reasonable to buy.
Yep. I agree. Good answer. Miltmont, Hi Yankee, and Dragons for SDB. So SD Bullion, is there a price where they would stop buying silver or gold? Same question that was posed to Tim. Well,
No way.
Tim, I don't think so. And I don't even think Tim, a local coin shop dealer, would either, depending on how fast the price went up. Now, he was talking about a moonshot, right? And that could be very difficult on a local coin shop dealer. It's very hard, right? He's dealing with a wholesaler. He's trying to, keep profit and not lose it. And so those radical quick changes in prices, massive changes, could be difficult. But for SD Bullion, I see the answer to that is no. They would be able to keep doing it, sell it and buy it. What do you think?
Well, yeah, I mean, typically the reason for a moonshot is because people are buying it up like crazy. I mean, if you think about it, the only way it can go up is if people are buying it.
Or if the supply just vanishes, right? Yeah, supply and demand. Either the demand goes up. Yeah. Right. I know, right? It's one or the other, though.
Yeah, maybe in 10 years we could see, or 20 years we could see that. But right now, if we were to see a moonshot, it's just because people are. It's a mania phase, and there's a ton of new people. They're all buying it up like crazy. So why would you have any trouble selling it if everyone is trying to buy it? I mean, there's no way. I mean, it's going to be easier to sell during a moonshot. And as far as what premiums am I going to get? To be honest, I don't know. Are they going to buy your silver for spot, over spot, under spot? I have no idea. A local coin shop, if they're really struggling, and maybe they will pay you way under spot. But I think the big reputable dealers are going to be paying what they normally pay. I mean, I don't really see that changing much.
I agree.
All right.
Oh, what else you got here? Oh, actually, Ninja, can we take Ninja TV okay?
Sure.
Question.
Sure.
If you had to barter with 1 ounce silver, what would you consider a reasonable trade?
Interesting. Like right now.
Right now, right?
I'll tell you this. The last barter that I did, I paid someone to pressure wash my driveway.
Nice.
And I paid them in silver. And they did a really good job. I gave them 3 ounces of silver.
Okay.
So I would say a third of the driveway. It's 1 ounce.
So
that's the most recent barter I've done.
But how was that determined? Was that like, okay, what's 3 ounces? in terms of dollars, does that correspond to what he would do it in dollars for? Did you use the dollar as your interim step?
That's a good question. I certainly did consider it. All right, is this about $60?
Right.
That was in the back of my mind.
Mm-hmm.
But essentially, the way it went was, hey, how many ounces of silver do you want for that? I don't know. And he's like, maybe 5. And I'm like, that seems too much. How about 3? And then he's like, okay. And then he
Okay.
did it.
That's
So
awesome. I love
it's
it.
a quick little back and forth,
Yeah.
and I felt like it was fair. He felt like it was fair. And I think a good barter is when both people feel like it's fair.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's going to be different for everyone in
Oh,
different situations.
fair.
But
Did that sound a little like free market?
yeah, that's literally what it is, right?
That's literally what it is. And now I don't plan on bartering except for test cases until it really gets bad. I'd like to practice, and I do a little bartering. In fact, this June up in Lancaster, New Hampshire, there's going to be a Freedom Festival, Free State Project, where the whole place barters for things. And I was just talking with Silver Dave about how they do it, and he said they actually price goods and services in terms of silver. Really. So you walk up and you say, it says two dimes. That is 20 cents, 2 dimes in silver. Isn't that cool? Or a tenth of an ounce of silver will get you this or that, an ice cream, a hammer, or whatever it is that I'm interested in buying there. And I cannot wait to try this out because I think that is the answer. When it finally hits, if it does in our lifetimes, and we are bartering for goods and services with silver, it's going to be a free market determined price.
Yeah. Yeah. And honestly, I think that would be really cool to go to that
I know.
festival.
I'm pretty excited about it. I'll be filming there for a good long day and shouting out Porkfest. So that's gonna be fun.
Awesome. Hey, we did get another super chat,
Ooh.
$10 from Brandon Street. He says, I just got a tube of 2024 kookaburras. I like the kookaburras in general. What do you think? Would you buy them? What do you think about the kooks?
I think I have 3,
Mm-hmm.
and they're really beautiful. And I have them in coin capsules, just like some of the stuff I'm showing here. So, yeah, I like them, but they're more of a collector item for me than a
Yeah,
stacking
I
item.
think they could be looked at as a semi-numismatic just because the
Mhm.
premiums. Once you get to like that 40-50% premium, it's like, well, is this really stacking?
Mhm.
One thing I will say about the kookaburras is that people do collect them because they change designs every year.
Mhm.
So I just think that if you're gonna offload these and you just take them to a coin shop, you would have done better if you had bought in generics. However, if you're gonna sell them on eBay one at a time, you like doing that kind of a thing, then maybe you would do better with the kookaburras. So it just depends on really your strategy. And I think this is an important thing that we all need to think about is what is your end game? Like if you need to sell it,
Yeah.
right? Because none of us want to sell our silver stack. I mean, unless you're really stacking for retirement and you got a plan or whatever. But the vast majority of us want to just keep on building the stack. But if you ever need to, for some reason, you got to piece it out, whatever. What is your strategy? Are you going to take the whole stack down to your local coin shop? Or are you going to try and sell it to an online dealer like SD Bullion? Are you going to try and sell it individually? Do you have experience doing that? Do you know how long that's going to take?
Right.
So these are all things you need to be considering. And obviously, you may only have to sell a portion of your stack. And so hopefully you have other generics that you could just take down to the local coin shop or something like that and hold on to your kookaburras, right? But these are things you have to have in the back of your mind.
That's a good point. I think kooks will look awesome, but I'm not going to be buying many personally. Yeah.
Me neither.
All right. Thanks for catching that. And thank you for that super chat, Brandon. I really appreciate it. So we got some other questions in here. Well, how much time do we have? We have 15 minutes left. We do have a giveaway coming up. It's going to be one of these. A tree of life. If you're listening to the podcast, when we go live, we always give away at least 1 ounce of silver, sometimes more, from our sponsor, SD Bullion. Thank you so much, SD Bullion, for sponsoring this podcast, but also just blessing the community. They do a great job of it. So we're going to be giving that away in a little bit. I'm going to start gathering up participant names right now for the last 15 minutes. If you are watching live, please put something in the chat. Doesn't matter what it is. I will start gathering up those names, and then we'll put the names on the wheel of names, which for those of you who are new, I got to tell you, the wheel is not rigged, okay? That's an inside joke. I saw a bunch of comments, a lot of Q&As around, how did you rig the wheel, Yankee? It's a joke. But we will put that on the wheel, and we'll draw it in just about 15 minutes. All right. What other?
And the wheel is a third-party website that Yankee utilizes.
Right.
So it's not like he designed it or anything. Okay. There is one question. There is one question here that I wanted to see your thoughts on, Yankee.
All right.
This is something I don't think we've ever talked about on the show, which is kind of rare. For 6 years on the show, I don't know that we've ever covered this specifically.
Okay.
The question is from West Texas Stacker, and they say pros and cons to storing silver in a depository.
Okay.
So, like for example, SD Bullion has their own depository.
Correct.
People can buy physical, and they'll hold it for them there. What are your thoughts on that? This is not IRA. This is just depository.
Man. The only time I would consider putting my metals in any other storage facility other than Yankee stacking storage facility, in my opinion, comes down to really 2 reasons. One, the scenario you are living in, the realities of where you're at, either it be maybe in an apartment building complex, or you don't trust certain people, or there's reasons why you cannot physically have it on-prem, in your own vault, in your own safe. That's one reason why I might want another trusted depository to hold my metals, right? It's a bad situation. I hope that's, or you live in a very dangerous location, a city. There are reasons why you might not want to have your silver on your person, but normally you do. Again, remember, if you don't hold it, you don't own it. So I love having it. The other reason why I think it does serve a purpose is for retirement, IRAs, where you are, say, less than 59 and a half, you have monies tied up in the markets and you don't feel safe doing, or at least the amount that you have in the markets you don't feel comfortable with, right? And you want to put it in a safer store of value. A lot of places will not let you do that. But if you have a self-directed IRA and you're able to do it, I think it's wise to put at least some of that retirement account, monies into metals and have it stored at a custodian in a vault. You can't take possession before 59 and a half. Against IRS rules, don't let you be your own custodian for that retirement amount, right? You have to have a third party. And in that case, I can see, at least temporarily, having someone like SD Bullion hold your metals for you.
Yeah. I will say, as far as one other maybe minor pro, is there's no taxes. As far as when you buy it, like if your state has taxes on bullion and you buy it and it's stored in their depository.
Good point. Yep.
No tax.
Yeah. That's becoming less and less an issue as states start to get rid of that stupid rule of tax, or get rid of that.
Tax money.
Yeah, tax money, right?
It seems dumb,
But that is a
but
good
the
point.
biggest con is just you can't access it. It's very
Yeah.
difficult to access or ever get delivery. So
Right.
when you need it, you're not going to have it.
Right. Yeah, it's a good question. I don't think we have answered that directly on Silver Pro. So thank you for that.
Yeah, there you go. Depository. I mean, I think we're both, generally speaking, a no on that.
Generally, no, although there
Yeah.
are reasons for it.
Exceptions.
Yeah, there are a good, actually, really healthy and good exceptions for it, but that's it. It's an exception to the rule. All right, did I see another one? Oh, I did. El Macano says, "What do you think about Golden State Mint? They have specials every week." Hey, there are a lot of different online bullion dealers, right? A lot of them. And you can get great deals. And I'm not against you looking for great deals. Some people care far more about getting the lowest money or spending the lowest amount on an ounce of silver. That's all that matters. And sometimes that's okay, but sometimes you get burnt. You have to wait, or there's hidden fees, or they're not a reputable place. I won't speak to Golden State Mint, but you need to be very careful with what online bullion dealer you're entrusting your money to. So we, again, sponsored by SD Bullion, not just because they sponsor this live stream. We love SD Bullion for a lot of different reasons. Not to mention, I appreciate how Tyler Wall runs his company. And how he founded his company and what he provides. So that's one of the reasons why I'm so excited to be aligned with him. But yeah, go get your deals. Get your deals. All right. And thanks for the $5 super chat.
Hey, there's one here from Alan Hall. Do you have let's see here. I think I lost it. Might be lower down.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh no, there it is. Do you have a chart of the GSR over time, say last century or so? I know that SD Bullion has one. I don't know if you're able to pull it up, Yankee. I believe theirs only goes back 30 years on their website. If you just Google gold silver ratio, there are a few websites that will go back 100 years. You have to remember the ratio was a fixed ratio when you go back that far.
Right.
It didn't really change at all, until like I believe 33 when they started the Fed and all that.
Yeah, I think
or 13 or.
Here's the furthest back right now on TradingView I can go is 19. What is that? 1997.
Yeah, it doesn't go back very far.
No, it doesn't. And you can see it. When you're playing the ratio, or the GSR, it takes time. How many years roughly for it to flip? It could be 20 years before you really see a shift, right? So be careful. Don't think it's going to be something you get in and right away you're able to say, now I can bring all my silver in for gold. You got to be patient with it.
Exactly. Like anything with gold and silver, you need to be patient.
I use the way to waste money. I'm still looking for some good ones here. I appreciate your channel. Well, thank you, Mike. How big is your driveway? Someone wants to know.
I actually moved, so my new driveway is pretty big.
All right, so with 8 minutes left, I maybe a couple more. J Rangers, for both of you, what is the number one reason you stack?
I actually think it's different for us. I'll go first. The whole reason I started stacking was to save money. That was literally why I started stacking, because I could not save in fiat. You have your checking account and your savings account at your bank, and every time I would put money in that savings, it would stay there for, a few weeks, a few months, but sure enough, there would be some reason, a trip we wanted to go on, or something I wanted to buy, or my wife wanted, or whatever.
Right.
We push a few buttons on the phone, move it from savings to checking, and boom, it was gone. I could not save money, but once I started buying silver, I did not want to get rid of it. I just wanted to keep stacking more, and I was able to save way more money than I ever thought possible. So that's that's why I started, and it's still one of the primary reasons I stack today. What about you?
Well, I've never had a problem with being a saver. That was instilled by my parents when I was young. So my purpose in stacking was because of what I see this country and this world headed for. I'm a prepper, and I'm a prepper stacker. And as a prepper stacker, I'm trying to protect my wealth, my family, against the depreciating dollar and the destruction of our US dollar, the out of control fiscal irresponsibility by our government, our insane monetary policies by our central bank, the Federal Reserve, and where I actually see this world headed when it comes to debt. So right now, I'm a very positive person. I'm an optimist or a realist in a lot of different ways, but when it comes to the way our economy is headed, I have to be a realist and I have to protect myself. For me, that's the right thing to do. Do I put all of my wealth into precious metals? No, I don't think that's reasonable. I think diversification is very important, and I think building your wealth still is important to do, but we got to hedge. We got to hedge. Times are tough. Things are going to get worse. And that's just how I view it. So
there you go. Well, I think we're probably going to end the podcast here. We only got like 5 minutes left on the show.
That's right. You're right.
For those of you watching live, we're going to be doing that free silver giveaway. If you're listening on the podcast, definitely check us out on YouTube. You can just search for Yankee Stacking and Silver Dragons, and you can catch us live one of these times.
Or search for Silver Pros. That'll find it too.
Exactly. Well, how do we end this thing here?
All right, so we're going to give a few people a chance to put something in the chat. Just if you've put something in recently, you're all good. You're all good. But if you haven't, and you've just been listening, you might want to type something in there. Give you another 30 seconds or so. While I do that, I just want to address something that Shiny Shineman said. Yankee, did I hear you correctly that we should also withdraw our metals out of the precious metals IRA? No, don't misunderstand me. If you're 59 and a half or older, I'm not against starting to withdraw and having a distribution where they deliver your metals to you. I think that's probably a good idea over time. Don't rush, don't panic. But before that time, you shouldn't. You'll get a terrible tax penalty. All right, so that's probably enough time, don't you think? Let's stop that.
Let's do this giveaway. And by the way, the Tree of Life, that is the new Monster Box giveaway for 2024.
Oh, I'm glad you mentioned that. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, they're giving away 500 of the Tree of Lives. Now, they used to not come in monster boxes. You can buy them now. Mm-hmm. This is the first year in a sealed monster box, which actually says SD Bullion on it, which is kind of cool.
Yep.
Me and Yankee got to see them when we went down to SD Bullion last year. And they're really cool. So make sure you enter the giveaway. It's sdbullion.com/sweepstakes, and you could win 500 of these. But we're just gonna give away one tonight. Good luck, everyone.
All right, let's shuffle this up and spin. Here we go.
We did not say stack like a pro yet. Yankee's saving that for the very end.
That's right. Yeah, we got to do this first.
Did you remove your name, Yankee?
No, of course not. All right, so we got Eric, Shop from Home, Marcia P. Oh, hang on there, Marcia. Yes. Congratulations, Marcia P. You won a Tree of Life. Email me your mailing address, and I will get that. Also, your phone numbers, because I'm going to send that off to SD Bullion, and they need that to contact you if they have any issues with the shipping. So email me that info at yankeestacking@gmail.com, and congratulations.
Congratulations, Marcia P. Hey, we're going to be doing this again in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
We'll do episode 3, and we may have a special guest.
Yes. Yeah.
So I'm not gonna say more than that.
Don't tease it anymore. But yeah, this is going to be fun. You don't want to miss this next one. You don't want to miss any of the Silver Pros. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. We really enjoyed it. And as always,
Stack like a pro.
bye everyone.
Good night.